The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
First down. Handoff. Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Mickey Spagnola, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a Friday edition of Talkin Cowboys here from Oxnard, California, and Radio Row as Training Camp 2022 rolls on from the West Coast alongside Mickey Spagnola, Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Chris Beam running the show as always, as we've got plenty to get to. It's one of those times of year, Mickey, whenever you look around, you're like, wow, maybe we'll get a little bit of a breather. We can just talk football. We can put everything aside. Let's just get to football. Well, guess what? As soon as we're done with our Wednesday show, news breaks that Cowboys are not just talking about football. They're adding football players to their roster. And
well,
they're
that's
getting
sort
to
of
that
football,
point.
isn't it?
It is football. It's good things. Anthony Barr is now a Dallas Cowboy. As his signing goes through, 1-year deal, $2 million, can get up to $3 million via incentives. And let's talk about it a little bit because Isaiah, Rob, I know we've talked about it on our show plenty of times. Mickey, I'm sure you probably brought his name up on a couple of occasions throughout the offseason. This was something we were looking for, and now the Cowboys have him.
Yeah, and I guess Anthony Barr decided it was time to play football, right? Because it's not like with a $2 million deal that can make $3 million, the Cowboys up their offer, right? So Barr probably decided, or he got healthy enough to like, okay, come out and I can pass a physical. Yeah. So, yeah, I hear, I was talking to the guys next door, and they were like, yeah, all the fans are up in arms. They signed a guy, and he had to go on PUP. Well, remember, he wasn't with anybody this year.
He's not injured.
Right.
He's not dealing with an injury.
He didn't have an off season that was structured. He had no OTAs. He had no mini camp. He had no 4-day ramp up here. So the Cowboys are just being smart and saying, all right, let's just make sure we get him ready before we put him in pads. So, and then the other thing is, if he's not ready, then you leave him on PUP and you say, okay, 4 games, you continue to get ready, and then we'll have you for 13 games. Yep. And so that's what's going on. But, yeah, it's an inexpensive look at a veteran guy who's had a pretty good year. Now, can you keep him healthy?
Yeah, and that's been a thing for him the last couple seasons. He missed almost all of 2020 with an injury. He missed, I think, 6 games last year. He's 32. So he's had some injuries after that string of Pro Bowls that he had in Minnesota. However, he can step in here and play a role for this team. He can step in and do some Micah Parsons-like things, Isaiah. I think. Well, in terms of, I'm not saying he's the linebacker.
You said the word.
Yeah,
MP.
but I do think he's got kind of a similar skill set in terms of he can play off the ball. He's a thumper at the linebacker spot. He can blitz. He can get to the quarterback. And I think they've got a nice mix of guys who can do that. I mean, Micah's got range, but you've got Leighton Vander Esch, who's a above-average linebacker in coverage, I believe. And you've got Jabril Cox, who's got a chance to be, I think, a great linebacker in coverage. Yeah. That's probably the best aspect of his game. I think they've got a linebacker core that I think kind of complements each other pretty well if everything comes together and everybody stays healthy.
Absolutely. These guys, Dan Quinn has to be the happiest man on earth right now. Not only did the front office find a way to get a 4-time Pro Bowler and an absolute dog at linebacker for a discount double check, because previously he's been playing for anywhere between $8 to $10 million, and all of a sudden you're able to slide in and steal him for $2 million. So kudos to the front office for that. I think George Edwards might have had something to do with that.
You think?
Oh, you think so? But you get a player who not only is a physical specimen, you get a player who is accomplished and well respected around the league for what he's done in his career to date. And then you also get a leader. You get somebody who rocked the C on their chest, and that's something that you can't just look past, especially when you're looking at this linebacker core that the Dallas Cowboys had. Micah Parsons was an absolute complete specimen, physical. I mean, we all know what he was last year. However, one thing he did not have to take on was the leadership role. And that's something that now he doesn't have to try to walk into and now take on going into this camp. He can still go back because this really still, even though it's his second year, he didn't play a ton of linebacker last year. So it's still relatively new for him at this level at that particular position, and I think he's going to be playing a lot more linebacker this year than he did last year. Van Der Esch, well, you can't really look to him as a leader because of the position that he's in. He's really fighting for his job and fighting for not for his job this year, but fighting to have the big boy contract down the road. So you can't really look to him to be the leader of this at that second level. So now you bring a guy in who that's all he knows, is being that leader. So these guys can now look up to him. Both guys can look up to him because he's more accomplished than they've been to date in terms of their career.
You know, and the other thing that might have been sobering to the Cowboys, because, you know, when somebody, it was in the offseason, somebody said weakest position or whatever, and I not name wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, well, there's no depth at linebacker.
At all.
None.
I said, here they are sitting with Micah Parsons, Leighton Van Der Esch, and
Luke Gifford.
And right, and it's like
Yeah.
and it's like you would like to say Jabril Cox, but he's coming off an ACL.
Look at practice yesterday.
Yeah,
Leighton Van Der Esch is not here, excused for a personal matter.
and you're out there with Parsons and Gifford, right?
Yes, because Jabril Cox is still, they're managing him coming off the
Give me
knee injury.
another guy after Gifford.
It was Story Jackson. It was Devin Harper.
Oh, see, you
Malik
looked.
Jefferson. Well, no, I mean,
I
that's
wanted
not what
somebody
it is,
to
though.
come off the
Kyle's
top
an
of their
encyclopedia.
heads,
He's an
right? Yeah,
encyclopedia.
Look,
yeah.
look at what I've got Twitter up. I've got
Right.
He's
that, but I,
He's
I
got
also,
the spot boards ready.
No, you had
I
your
also
spot
wrote an
boards
article
ready.
on it yesterday. So
Yeah,
that's probably why.
so
But that's the thing, though, is you look at it from a depth standpoint, because I agree with what you're talking about with the pedigree, Isaiah, because he does bring pedigree. 4 Pro Bowls is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
That's a fantastic career. If he was to quit today, he had a fantastic career. But you also talk about all 4 of those Pro Bowls came with George Edwards in Minnesota. After George Edwards left Minnesota, he has not made a Pro Bowl since. So, yes, there is a connection
yeah,
there.
but he's been hurt.
But that's where I was leading, Mick.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The whole scenario around needing him here, it's not to be the number one guy. You've got a number one guy. He's wearing number 11. And Mike McCarthy talked about it last week. 60-40 was the snaps for Micah Parsons at linebacker as opposed to edge rusher. So he did kind of share that a little bit, and I agree with you. I think he'll play more at the second level this year. But ultimately, with Anthony Barr coming in, he can be that third guy behind Micah Parsons, behind Leighton Van Der Esch. Then he's a close third to where you can mix and match, and Dan Quinn's got depth. He's got options. He can do different pass sets. You can blitz Micah Parsons and not having a liability at the second level. That's what I'm excited about. He doesn't need to come in here and be a Pro Bowler. He can come in here and provide significant depth, and all of a sudden your defense is automatically better.
Yeah, like I said, he's going to play a role. He doesn't have to play 60 snaps, but he's there in position if he needs to. And he's also, you mentioned flexibility. Micah could very well play more off the ball this year.
Sure.
But if they want to, or if they need to play him off the edge more and drop him in those situations, now you can do that because now you've got a guy who can plug in right there. And the other thing, too, is you mentioned, he's coming off injuries. Jabril Cox is coming off a major injury, and they have a lot of high hopes for him, but he only played like 9 defensive snaps last year. There are some unknowns for him, and they're trying to manage him, make sure he's healthy going into this season. Leighton had a full season last year, but has been banged up at times. So Mick's right from that standpoint too. Like they needed to add some depth and some injury insurance at the position. Isaiah knows it. That's a position. It's right there in terms of contact and guys getting banged up. It's right there.
And they got bigger. I don't think other people understand that. This second level is ginormous. They're not just regular-sized linebackers. Micah Parsons is 6'3", 245 all day long. Van Der Esch is 6'4", 250 all day long. And you got Anthony Barr comes in now. He's 6'5", 255 all day long. What does that do when you have this size along with the mobility that these guys have, the athleticism? Dan Quinn, as creative as he is, I've been saying it from the mountaintops for as long as his name came up around Cowboys Nation. This guy is going to be – I hope EA Sports is paying attention because
it's in the game.
Because it's in the game. Because John Madden, they're going to have to add some formations to the Dan Quinn's defense. You know, the
Had some audibles.
Yeah, normally, you have the regular 4-3s, the 3-4s. Occasionally somebody wants to get all spiffy and get the 3-3-5. They're going to be doing some wild stuff.
Like a 9-2?
Dude, you're going to be seeing all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, and here's the other thing, Isaiah. If they wanted to, I mean, they say they're a 4-3 base defense. But they didn't have if they wanted to do it, they didn't have 3 linebackers. Nope. They felt good. But last year, that deal with Keanu Neal, that ain't quite work.
That's why Jaron Curse had to step down.
Well, but other teams will look at Jaron Curse, too, if they want to get heavy and run the ball and say, okay, he ain't that big.
Yeah.
So now you got 3. You can put 3 linebackers out there.
Start thinking about this, man. I mean, because as you know, I'm a creative guy, so I started thinking about the different situations. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and long, and you need to get to the quarterback, and you decide to say, Micah Parsons, walk down to the edge, and then I'm gonna put Sam Williams on this edge over here, and then I'm gonna bring Armstrong, and I'm gonna put D-Law on the inside, and then you guess what? I'm gonna put Barr and Van Der Esch at the second level. There's so many things that you can do in terms of just being creative with your offerings. Dan Quinn is a kid in a candy store. This is a problem for everybody, and I love it.
That was the first thing I said. Dan Quinn got a new toy.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a lot of guys who can play in a lot of different spots. Like we've talked about, Sam Williams played some inside at Ole Miss. D-Law played some inside last season late in the year, and you're right about Barr. Like, he is a huge linebacker. I mean, there was talk when he was maybe going to go to the Jets that maybe he was going to be a pass rusher exclusively for them. And you just watch him play, man. You watch his highlights. He put a lick on Cooper Rush last year on Halloween as a blitzer. Like, that's part of his role, I think, and I think he's got 16 career sacks. He can help them in that regard too.
So here's my question. What happened in Minnesota? Because last year, he had agreed to a deal with
the Jets.
With the Jets, right? But
years
they
ago.
had a couple years. It wasn't last year.
Yeah.
Because they re-signed him in 2019 to a 5-year, I want to say it was a $67 million package, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted to renegotiate his deal last year to get some cap space because he was supposed to make like 12.9. They shaved it down to $10 million.
Yep.
And for him to agree to that, he got the ability to void the last 2 years of his contract.
Yeah.
So that's why he was a free agent, right? But it's August 4th, and he was still a free agent. And it could be it'll be interesting to see how he answers that question.
I don't believe that he had a problem in terms of opportunities in the NFL.
I don't think. You think he was being selective?
I think his head coach is no longer there.
Right.
So there was a lot of interpersonal things.
Turnover.
Yeah, there's a complete turnover. There's a lot of moving parts over there. They had between the head coach and the quarterback, there was a lot of beef in that organization over the past year or two.
You're right.
And I'm pretty sure that he was a part of that as well. Now, he had opportunity to remove himself, and he definitely did so. So I don't think that there's any team in this league, aside from his injuries, right, which are not reoccurring injuries in the same injury. We're not talking about Odell Beckham tearing his knee twice, right? We're talking about a pec, and we're talking about a knee. These are things that just happen. It's a part of the game. We saw it with Gallimore, right? First preseason game, freaking arm, whatever, goes away. So things like that happen. This guy is a leader, and he's a Pro Bowler, multi-Pro Bowler. Everybody wants this type of guy on their team.
You also go back and you look at I mean, it's been the buzzword throughout training camp so far, but the best type of ability is availability.
Yep.
And over the last couple of years, he's had a similar track record as a Tyron Smith in terms of games played.
Well, he's only played 13 games in two years.
Yeah, there you go. And that's exactly the amount that Tyron Smith has played in the last 2 years.
No.
You want to bet?
Well, that's right.
I
forgot he missed.
I was about to say, I'm looking at it right now,
He
man.
missed the whole season.
You want to bet? You want to bet, Nick?
Got it right here.
He missed the whole season.
Okay, so
No, he actually played 4. Didn't he play 4 in 20?
No, he played 2.
Just 2?
Yeah, just
in
2
20.
games.
Point being,
It's been 11 and
yeah,
2
but
the
Tyron
last 2
Smith
years.
wasn't on. It wasn't a free agent, and he only going to make $2 million.
That's my
Do you
point,
think
though.
if Tyron Smith was a free agent, he can make more than $2 million?
But you still want Tyron Smith on your team,
No,
right?
I know, but I'm saying I want to know why.
Why
And maybe
why
that
you
was
can get it
his
for $2
choice.
million. It's definitely his choice, mate, because you look at it, if you're him, You're him. You understand that the last few years have been injury ridden for you.
Or
right?
maybe he made his money and it wasn't important.
Well, no, I don't think that's the case. The thing is, as players in this league, you will take a step back to make a huge leap forward. And if you're able to sit back, humble yourself, and identify, when was I a Pro Bowler? Who was the guy that was leading me in terms of coaches?
Right.
Oh, George Edwards. Okay, where's he at? Oh, he's in Dallas. Okay, who else is around him talent-wise that will allow for me to do what I need to do to get myself back in that conversation of that caliber of
Two
player?
other guys that have made a Pro Bowl.
Absolutely. Right? And then you look at the defensive line. That's the other thing. Look at all the players that he has that's going to be in front of him that are going to allow for him to be productive at the second level. That's the thing that impacted all the guys a couple years ago, Vander Esch and I blanked out on
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
Wee.
Not
right?
yeah.
Right, so Jalen Smith, right?
not covered up.
Yeah,
in
not
the
being
second
covered
level.
up.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got- I mean,
Yeah.
there's some doggone girth up front now, and there's a lot of guys that's a crowded room, and it's going to allow that second level to roam and make plays.
And once again, he doesn't have to come unless he just balls out and they just can't take him off the
Which
field.
would be great.
A la Jaron Curse last year.
Sure.
He doesn't have to play 60 snaps
Facts.
a game if guys stay healthy.
It's a luxury.
Remember, they play how much 3 safety did they play last year? They played most of the time. They played only 2 linebackers on the field.
Yep.
So now they've built even more of a nice little deep rotation that they can work with and also provide injury insurance if they need
And
to.
run defense.
Yes.
That's what I was
Nobody
just
wants to
getting ready
freaking talk
say.
about it. Go ahead, Mick. Go crazy.
I mean, how did they get beat in the playoff game?
Run game.
Gave up 160 some yards rushing.
Most of the
How did they
season.
get beaten the previous time they were in a playoff game? They gave up 260 some yards rushing. So now, if people want to go 2 tight ends, all right. Well, I got linebackers that can cover a tight end, probably.
the same size.
Right? And you can run with them. Because talking with Leighton Vander Esch, somebody asked him about, something about his ability. And he says, I'm big and I'm rangy. I can cover. And, this is going to be an important year for him, too, right?
Absolutely.
He basically signed the same deal that Barr signed. It's the exact same.
Yep.
And we've seen when he's healthy how productive he can be. Yeah. People forget his rookie year. He did things his rookie year when he was healthy that no other linebacker in Cowboy history did. And we got 2 of them in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And so
We haven't seen him howl in a while, man.
yes,
We need to see him howl.
And he was starting to howl at the end of the year last year,
I think he
right?
had 1 or 2.
And I loved what he said at the home run derby when somebody said, "What was the difference at the end of the year compared to the beginning?" And he goes, "If you put me in the game for the entire game, that's what you get."
Ooh.
And I loved it. And he's right. His snaps went up. He played almost. I just looked it up because I'm writing about him for today. He played 86% of the snaps in the playoff game against San Francisco, and he had 13 tackles, by the way. So you put him on the field, he's productive. Now you got him healthy. You Micah Parsons and now Barr, and then you think Jabril Cox to kind of rotate in. Yeah.
So that's not boding well for what he's saying, though, because it sounds like it's going to be
about to bring it up.
Well,
he's not going to be in there the whole
But
game.
be a nice little rotation.
But he has been out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been good
When
out here
they've
for
gone
sure.
to nickel, he's been the lone linebacker. There's times when he's just the linebacker,
Facts.
and you got Curse in there and Parsons lining up at defensive end.
But what happens when Jabril Cox stops working with Britt Brown and Anthony Barr is in there as well?
Well, and it'll be a
Competition.
good thing, right?
It's a good- yeah, it
It's
is a
like
good
who's
thing.
producing.
Yeah, back to
I
Barr.
love it.
Back to Barr, real quick. This deal has been. There's been whispers about
For a
this going back to probably May, June.
Yeah.
There was talks. Maybe if the money was right, they were going to
Common
do this.
interest.
Well, the money
Yeah.
can't be right.
Well, right for the Cowboys.
It's right for the Cowboys,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I mean, he's here, so it's right.
he decided to agree.
From what I've heard, they needed him to be at a low number in order for them to pull the trigger at him.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they
maybe
wanna
he's
give him
looking
more-
at a team that he thinks is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the George Edwards influence. I mean,
big
guys love playing for George. I will say, I feel like fans would be more excited about this move. I think they are, but I think given what happened with James Washington, I think there is kind of okay, great, sign a receiver now. Okay, let's go get a receiver in here too. Like
Does he
it's
play
kind of
receiver? I've seen
Well,
him a
any of
couple
these
different
receivers
times.
that are available, do you think they're going to play for $2 million?
No.
No,
no.
probably not.
Well, maybe I don't know.
It depends on which guy.
Again,
but
maybe just wait.
Just one-
You
just
know,
one
go
guy?
to the end of camp, see
And
who
the guy
else is
looks
out
like
there.
it's Labor Day and I don't have a job.
Maybe. Maybe.
All right, when we come back, let's take your questions here on Talkin' Cowboys. If you are having a question, you want us to answer it, I just put out a tweet at Kyle_Yeomans. Go and respond to it right now. Got a couple good ones already. How about this? Let's take a look at the young defensive linemen when we return with more Talkin' Cowboys from Oxnard.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it, they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state, based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Are you a Cowboys fan who spices up the game? Make sure and nominate yourself or others for the Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, and win a trip to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. Nominate today at DallasCowboys.com/fan of the
Nick,
year.
I need this before we leave camp, man.
Isaiah's here till Sunday?
Yeah,
so
Sunday
we got,
morning.
we,
It's the
we
last
got
show.
we got 48 hours for you to do your
We're
Captain
one-
Morgan
we're-
post.
We're one, yeah, no.
Yeah.
We can do it right now. No.
It's just
Once
a-
again, I'll move out of the way.
It's
I'll
just
get
a
up.
walkthrough today. Why don't we just do it then?
You go outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Put your foot on a cooler and freaking hit the ball.
The Gatorade cooler at the midfield.
Captain Mickey. They'll be right here.
Oh, that would be legendary.
I need the hat.
I'll Photoshop it in there. No, I got you. I'll
Beamer,
Photoshop
if we
it.
get that, I need it on
I'll
everything.
Photoshop.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, this is going to be
I will
great.
3D print that.
No doubt about it.
If you buy if you buy me some Captain Morgans,
Ooh.
We can do that.
We can definitely figure
no,
that out.
I stopped right because I knew that's too attainable.
It's about to say.
Yeah.
They sell that stuff at Target here. I mean, they got it down
In the
road.
grocery
Yeah,
stores.
they've got it just wherever here.
We're in America
This
here.
is easy money. This isn't Texas. All right.
They had more. As a matter of fact, they had more of that in the grocery store than they had wine. I swear to God.
Oh, and they had more than that. Than they had like peanut butter. They were almost out of peanut butter, but guess what? The liquor shelves where they were stocked. All right. Let's talk about some questions here.
What just happened?
I don't know.
We're looking for a new sponsor.
We're trying to figure it out. All right. This one is from our
Peanut
friend
butter and
Shady.
Captain Morgan.
Shady
Those go
on
together.
Twitter. He says, I haven't been able to keep up as much, but has Ridgeway, John Ridgeway III, shown up as a run stuffer here in practices? He's anxious to see him in preseason action. What have you seen from Big Ridgeway,
Stop
Isaiah?
being anxious. Yes, this dude is a freaking house, and he is physical. I love his attitude. He is literally clogging things up. We've seen him utilized as a combination with him and Hill, both of those guys in there, and then you can put whoever the heck you want to outside of them because this defensive line is getting a lot of pressure and getting up the field right now. I'm excited to see what they do next week when things are really flying around against Denver. That would be the real test. But in terms of how he's looking so far to date, I love it.
Yeah, we haven't had a fight yet in training camp. We've been really close. There were about 3 instances yesterday where I'm like,
really
this is it. This is it. And if they had a practice today, I would have bet that would be the day.
What got Parsons' dander up at the end?
I'm not sure. That
was
one
Biotis.
of them. Biotis
got into it. It was after
With
the
Parsons?
walkthrough, yeah. And Biotis just got a little bit too physical with no helmets on, and he was like, dude, it's walkthrough. And it happens.
But Biotis looked like he was ready to go during team drills. Maybe it carried over. I don't know. But my point is,
it was hard to really pinpoint a lot of those instances yesterday because there were a couple of them that were kind of lingering flare-ups.
Yeah.
As you went along, you couldn't really pinpoint.
It's like Hot Tub Time Machine. His arm almost got him. Oh, dang it!
Great movie. So this is the time when this kind of stuff happens because. Yeah. Guys can see the preseason games coming up.
Yep.
They're about to have a practice with another team. They're tired of hitting each other.
Yep.
And John Ridgeway, if and when there's a fight, a little skirmish, he's probably going to be in the middle of it because that's just his style. He's a nasty interior player. And, yeah, there's guys, too, that have teammates that have pointed him out that he's been showing up in these practices so
He looks
far.
like 2 refrigerators just put together. He's huge. Yeah, if you take 2, I don't know what our sponsor is. I'm not making some of the names, but – 2 refrigerators.
I'm trying to think of a brand.
Put them side by side. That's what it looks like. And he stood next to D-Law the other day. He made D-Law look like a teenage kid.
You mean like the ones that have the double doors and they open out?
The industrial kitchen.
Yeah, like the built-ins, man. Like that.
The
those
ones
kinds.
that Nick's got in his house.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They don't call him Big John for no reason.
All right, Mario asks on Twitter, he says, is anyone working specifically with the kickers on technique and fundamentals? Seems like they could improve with a little bit of guidance, especially Garibay as a rookie. Mickey, I know we heard from Liram Hajrullahu yesterday after practice, kind of talked on the going through the motions and the mental side of kicking, but is there anybody else that's having an impact on those guys?
I don't know that John Fossil's a kicking guru. That's kind of the problem with most special teams coaches. They know schemes. How to scheme it and formations and how they cover and return, but they're not kicking experts. Nope. And that's why I thought it was so valuable for the Cowboys. All those years they had Steve Hoffman here as the kicking coach, and he was really good. Before that, they had another guy with Tom. The guy was based here, and he would come to training camp with him. I forget his first name. His last name was Akajanian, and he was a kicking guru. So he helped Raphael Septien out, and there's some guys out there that know the finer arts of kicking, and it's hard for a kicker, I think, to find a coach. They're just not out there.
So you're saying that
I
it'd be
think
money well spent if the Dallas Cowboys set aside $100,000 to get a kicking specialist coach in here.
I think so, or at least somebody that's a consultant, right? Because at this point with Garibay, I think it's in his head because he kicked so well in the offseason. There was no competition, right? He was the only kicker. Now he's got competition, and I don't know if he's pressing or what, but it's just like it's yesterday. Liram with the 8 they do, and then the 3 he kicked in the mojo moment during practice, he was 10 of 11. And Garibay was at 50%.
He was 4 of 8 early in practice.
4 of 8.
Couple were in the 30s.
And then it was
yards-wise.
1 of 3, maybe something like that.
He made, I think he made 3 of 4 in the mojo moments, and they purposely did the wait, timeout. Oh wait,
penalty,
holding penalty. Just to kind of mess with him a little bit, and they kicked better during that.
Right,
but
not good enough.
Yeah,
50%'s great if you're playing baseball, right?
Well, he was 3 of 4.
3 of 4.
Was
he kicked better there, but
it was 7 of 12, I think, something like that.
Overall.
That'll get you cut.
Yeah.
So again, and as I think McCarthy pointed out, Stephen pointed out that they're not only competing against each other; it's everybody else out there because somebody's going to get cut, right?
Yeah.
The Jets signed Zerline, but they still got Eddie Pinheiro. One of them's going to get cut. I don't know that you want to go back to Zerline, but
the good thing about the kicker position is that's somebody that you could bring onto your team and not bat an eye. You're not going to miss a step. You don't have to, acclimate them to the environment.
Yeah.
They step on it. The field is the field no matter what, and like they'll have a conversation with
Unless
their holder.
it's lumpy, right?
That field is
God,
lumpy.
here we go. Here we go.
That field is so lumpy.
But you're right?
Yeah, you can just step into the fold no matter what team.
Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they don't have a kicking coach.
I'm saying it could help.
For development.
Well,
that's what he's referring to, yeah.
Because, but Fossil's had Janikowski in the past. He had Zerline. And I'm not sure with the Rams but they had success there. I think they've got a couple guys in here who don't have a lot of experience, at least not at this level. Liram has in the CFL, but they have a young rookie in here who's just learning. And not everybody comes in here as Dan Bailey and is going to hold down the job for 10 years. So
or Zerline or Janikowski.
Right, but they've got to figure this out because Clarence Hill was on one of our shows on the Media Mash yesterday and brought up a great point, man. It's like 3 games they lost last year decided by that range of points where field goals were missed. You can't do even though you play in a bad division.
Or extra points.
Huh?
Or extra points.
Yep. I mean, look how close this game was against San Francisco. Most of the games come down to that, to about a kick or two.
And you're probably going to see that a lot this year as well with a young team. You're still trying to build on the offensive side of the football.
That's why these preseason games are so important.
They're massive.
And I remember last year, I don't think McCarthy liked the question. I said, do you think you would manage the preseason? Because Zerline didn't kick here. Remember last year?
Yep.
And so it's like, would you manage the game differently to make sure you get some field goal attempts? Like it's 3rd and 9 at the 25, and you run the ball. Because I want my kicker out there to try and fill. I ain't worried about winning the darn game. And I don't know if he would do that this year with these young guys. But they need kicks. And the offense needs to be productive so they can go out there and try something 43-yard field goals, the ones that you got to make, the money kicks.
I got a question for you, Mick, all of you guys. Would you trade for a kicker?
Trade.
I feel like that's a relative
But no
question.
one keeps 2, do they?
Unless you got a kickoff specialist, probably not.
Yeah. It's not anymore because kickoff now is.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's going to get cuts.
There are going to be cuts.
There'll be guys cut, right? And if somebody has 2, one of them's on the practice squad, and you can go sign them off the practice squad. But I don't know that somebody has 2 that you go, I want both of them.
Yeah.
Now, if they do, they would trade with you, right?
Yeah, and that's situation.
I bring that up because we obviously understand the value of it, but I don't think a lot of people most people would devalue the kicker position. I've always held it in high regard, simply because of the fact they are a necessity to your team. I can go kick the ball off, right, but I can't kick a doggone field goal.
Yeah, but you're not going to trade.
I would
draft capital.
No. I'm talking about
for it.
We have a really crowded defensive line room.
Yes.
You're going to trade a defensive lineman for a kicker?
If somebody would do it.
If it's it would have to be a top kicker for me. Like, it'd have to be one of those top guys.
Outside the box, I like it.
The safety.
Way outside the box.
Way outside.
It's way outside the box, and maybe that's not why I'm not in the front office. But guess what? I would much rather know that I have a Dak Prescott, right, and all the weapons that he has, and then assure that I could close out drives.
Okay.
That sense of security for me is absolutely everything. Because right now, what you have is a Dak Prescott, a CD, a Zeke, a Pollard, all these guys, and they can work the ball down the field. But if you don't score a touchdown, the drive is lost.
So what I'm hearing is you're trading Tristan Hill for Justin Tucker.
Well, I would do that.
You know what? I'm not going to say names, but I would to give my organization the confidence that no matter what, when we cross this 50-yard line, we're scoring.
Yeah.
It's not a question mark.
You know what? You could argue, though, it's outside the box, but you cannot deny this. This might be the most concerning position they've got.
Heck yeah.
Because over wide receiver, over offensive tackle. Because they got guys that are coming back at receiver eventually, and they've got at least their starting offensive tackles are healthy. They don't have a solution at this position right now.
And that's direct correlation to points, too.
And it can cost you games.
You don't want –
and it's going to force you to start taking risks.
Yeah.
People don't understand the domino effect. Now, all of a sudden, we got to throw things down the field. All of a sudden, we're asking Dak to throw more highly inaccurate passes to try to create something because we're not confident in our ability to kick the ball once we cross the 40.
Mm-hmm. You don't want your kicking situation to affect your play calling because you'll get in situations where, all right, we better go for this fourth down because I don't trust my kicker. And I've seen it in college.
Now all of a sudden you got a strip sack or you got a tip ball or you know what I'm saying? Like that's when bad stuff starts happening because you're taking risks that you normally wouldn't take. Yeah. So I understand that I'm outside the box, but think about the confidence that you have. When Dan Bailey was here and he was making everything from left to right, doesn't matter where he was at. How confident were you?
Very.
Very confident.
You weren't that confident when he first got here, though.
Well, he struggled, and they kept bringing in these veteran guys, and they weren't any better. And Cowboys were very lucky that Chris Boniol, basically, he was a new coach, and he laid his stuff on the line that said Boniol's the best one. And Boniol had come off a really bad practice, and then he outkicked the veterans at the end. Bailey, yeah.
Boniol vouched for him.
Boniol did it too, by the way. But you don't want that to affect your game plan.
Thanks to talking about kickers, we got through 2 questions.
That's it?
So we're going to continue with a couple more.
It's important.
But it's going to be rapid fire. When we come back in the final segment, we're going to get Mick in some rapid fire. We're also going to find him some Captain Morgan as well. When we come back here on Talkin Cowboys.
Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more. Essilor on Talkin Cowboys. The shades are back.
I missed that.
You missed it.
Man, I missed that.
We'll be back soon enough. This is, I guess, are you going to be in Denver and or L.A. for Talkin Cowboys reasons or no?
I think so.
You think so?
Or are you just going for the game?
No, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there on Wednesday. I get there Wednesday.
Guess what? Isaiah is going to be on the broadcasts, by the way.
That's right.
He's in broadcasts. Boo, 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 boo.
That's right.
He's the color analyst alongside Bill Jones, Babe Loffenberg.
Bring some color to the color.
I'll be down on the sideline doing my thing, wishing I was up there.
Oh, you're not going to get in a word edgewise.
No.
Those 3 guys are in the booth.
Yeah, no, I'll just kind of – I've got my scripted open, and that's about it. That's all I get. So
for the sideline?
Yeah, for that. That's it. I get the first hit, and that's my job. But really excited about that. Also, before we get into this rapid fire, we do have a broadcast coming up tomorrow of practice, live practice broadcast on TXA 21 starting at 11 Pacific time. So it would be 1 Central time, going 1 to 3 tomorrow. So it'll be me, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, and then a rotation of Mickey, Rob, Nick Eatman, and Patrick Walker.
That's a lot of talent right there, Kyle.
It's a ton of talent.
A lot of freaking talent.
Lucky to be
I'm
part
happy
of
to be
it.
y'all security.
Hopefully there's enough action out there.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
right?
I hope so too. All right.
Rapid fire. Let's go, baby.
Let's
go.
We get 45 seconds. That's 15 seconds each to answer this question. I want all three of you guys to answer it. And Mickey gets to start them off, and if he goes over, I'm going to point to Rob. All right.
I'm ready.
This one's going to be fun because Mickey's going to have something to say about this one. All right. Ty says Chris Godwin is back to practice today for Tampa Bay. He hurt his knee only 2 weeks before Michael Gallup. Is it that really that big of a time difference? Why is he going to play and Michael Gallup's not going to play with a similar knee injury 2 weeks prior? Ready, set, go.
Maybe he healed faster. And maybe he didn't just tear an ACL. Maybe, or he just teared an ACL and Michael Gallup had a little bit more.
Very well done, Mick.
Wait, when did Godwin get hurt?
2 weeks prior to Gallup.
When did he have the surgery?
When did he have the surgery?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Gallup had his surgery
didn't
in
have
February.
The surgery till February.
So that's the clock. The clock started 5 months ago.
All right.
So
we can go ahead and pass through that one.
Rob wins.
Yep,
Right.
Rob wins that one. All right, which one of these three?
So when you ask McCarthy a question, you're 1-0.
Thank you.
Done. Good job. All right, which one of these three has gotten the most reps with Dak, Isaiah? Is it Dennis Houston, Jalen Tolbert, Simi Fehoko?
Jalen Tolbert.
Why?
Simply because he's the draft pick and he gets first dibs. Right second behind him is going to be Houston.
Who's impressed you the more?
I like Tolbert. I'm impressed by Houston.
Okay, Rob?
Yeah, Tolbert. Isaiah and I were talking about this yesterday. He's so smooth, and his personality is so even-keeled.
Yeah.
And for a young guy, that's really, really impressive. Like, he carries himself kind of on the field and off the field like he's been doing this for a minute.
Tolbert.
I love this, Mickey. All right, UK Cowboys fan says Sam Williams versus Dorrance Armstrong versus Dante Fowler Jr.
Ooh.
Who takes the starting spot so far, Mick?
So far, it's Dorrance Armstrong. And everybody needs to remember you got to play the run.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how well Sam Williams can play the run. And just haven't seen anything that Fowler's done. Like, there's 56, right?
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Dorrance Armstrong. And remember, he had 6 sacks last year. That's as many as Randy Gregory had. Now, I don't know if Gregory might have played less snaps because he was out. But he was productive. He might take another step forward. Sam Williams is jumping out, though.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be part of this thing.
Rotation.
Yeah.
Armstrong, his contract says so. Sam Williams is making a big splash, and he's going to come along fast. Fowler probably won't be on the team.
Wow, you finished that right at 45 seconds. All right, the boys have invested 13 out of the last 20 picks at the defensive side of the ball. Who is going to be a surprise cut from that group? G from Jersey asked that one. He's a friend of the show. Rob, you have a surprise guy that's on the defensive side of the football that may not make it?
I got to look at D-line. I'm not sure who it's going to be. I know Tristan Hill's a popular pick when we talk about this just because of the numbers. But he's having a really good start to camp so far. So I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Okay.
You mentioned Fowler. That's an interesting pick.
Yeah. Kelvin Joseph.
Whew. Okay.
Wow.
I was thinking more D-line, but yeah.
See, and I was thinking that too because you look at defensive line and there are so many names there that somebody you like is not going to make this roster. Just pure numbers. Yep. That's all it is. That's what I hate about it. But I think we're going to see that at some point.
I don't think they'll give up on a second-round pick that fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Basham.
Veteran, been here for a little bit.
I mean, I don't know if you wanted me to pick a draft choice since you said.
Nah, I'm okay with that.
No, just a guy on defense.
Has Joseph shown you anything to stay around aside from where he was drafted?
Listening to the little bit of time I got to talk with Stephen Jones, they think he's one of their stronger cornerbacks.
Dan Quinn said that too the other day.
But to answer your question, I ain't seen it yet.
No, I don't know.
Maybe he's strong.
If you take the draft pick, he's been getting toasted though. Those toast.
He has, but speed-wise, he's one of the top guys, or he was coming out of the draft.
But
you haven't seen that yet.
Here's the deal: give me another backup corner that has stood out. That's not a starter.
Yeah, Bland doesn't look great yet.
Nashawn Wright.
Yeah, and
I like Wright.
Bland's had his ups.
Nashawn Wright.
I like Wright.
He's a draft choice.
Yep.
Bland has had some moments, but he's a rookie.
Yep.
Obviously.
Wright's probably had more.
Yeah, he's probably.
I like Wright.
Yeah, he's made some plays.
All right. Are we worried about Trayvon Diggs getting beat deep in practice several times. Rob, are you worried about it?
No, he also made some plays on the ball too. And the one that everybody's pointing out was when Simi beat him deep on a go ball drill in one-on-ones. Isaiah knows this very well. There's no pass rush. That is designed for –
and no safeties.
No safeties.
No help over the top.
Quarterback has all day if he wants. That drill is designed for DBs to fail.
Facts.
It's the most unfair drill in practice.
And that's why he was mad about it, and Al Harris got off in his tail and said, hey, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. That's one of those things where there's a balance of, yes, it's unfair. Yes, he didn't have a good rep, but it's also you're an all-pro. You're expected to be the best. Don't give up on a play, even in practice.
But
that was Al Harris.
That's good coaching. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
but let's face it. There's a reason why quarterbacks pass for 5,000 yards. The DB's getting beat. The corner, I don't care who you are, you get beat.
Yeah.
Now, the key thing is, do I compensate for getting beat by making plays? And he has made plays, right? So
he made a couple last year, I think. Just a few.
Yeah.
A few of those plays.
They've structured this defense for him to take risks.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you see 3 safeties.
Good point. And that's a good one to end on.
I like that. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys sending in all the questions here on Talking Cowboys. Isaiah, it's been fun having you these last couple of shows. We'll see you in Denver. For Mickey Spagnola, for Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, and the great Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you next week with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!